What do Starbucks, Pengu, and men's soccer all have in common? They're all featured on tonight's mind-blowing program. This is Queen's TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's show. This will be our final show before we go on a 2-week hiatus to return 1 week after Thanksgiving. So let's get right to it. First thing on the docket, May Watch. That's right, Queensonians. With only 3 short weeks until Kingston decides 2010, we thought we'd profile the mayoral candidates just to give you an idea of who you shouldn't vote for. First off, we have the businessman of the group, Barry Manilow Chalmers. We looked at the transcript from the most recent debate, and here's what he had to say about Queens. Queens and the city need to get together on a lot of things. Student property codes should be obeyed. Great. I like this Chalmers fellow. Seems realistic, wants a good relationship, and protects student rights in regards to housing. What more do you have, Barry? Queen's students wreck a house, the landlord repairs it, and the students wreck it again. Oh, Barry, I had so much hope for you. We could have been the best of friends, and you go ahead and lay the smack down like that? Although, to be fair, I know what he's talking about. Students really do need to stop the common practice of changing light bulbs with baseball bats. Yet, we shouldn't be too hard on Barry. Just because his website doesn't mention Queen's, one of the key institutions in the region, doesn't mean that he isn't sympathetic to student needs. He knows that students are lazy. So Team Barry is offering the Catch a Ride service, where a volunteer will pick you up and drive you to a voting booth on election day. Now, while it doesn't explicitly state it, assume it's only a one-way ticket if you vote for someone else. And one of those someone else's is none other than all-star candidate Rob Matheson, running under the banner, Rob for the job. Now, Queensonians, it isn't often that a candidate in a mayoral election really inspires the masses. But if one ever did, it might be Mr. Matheson. At a recent candidate debate, Rob was quoted as saying, "It's important that Queens be held to the same standard as everyone else." And I could not agree more. It is about time that residents of Kingston are treated the same way as Queen's students. No longer will we be treated any differently. So watch out, District School 7 located on Dawson Court. Your mid-fall charity bake sale is about to receive an increased police presence. Try not to spook the horses, that will only result in trampling. Now we turn to the final candidate and perceived frontrunner, Mark Gerritsen. Now, being a Queen's alumni himself, as it boldly states on his website, I think this may be our guy. He's youngish, which means he knows the situation that students face in Kingston and can relate, which is why, at the aforementioned debate, he stood up and made sure that Queen's students were protected. He stated, "We don't have a problem taking a hard line on Queens." Come on, you were the one, Mark. You were our guy. Tell me there's more, a but, a however, give me something. On Tuesday at Council, we agreed to set up a permanent committee with regards to student problems. The stance I've taken in the past is that I do not sympathize with Queens. Well, I give up. How can we endorse a candidate if none of them like us? Somebody at least pretend. Remember the last guy? He even pretended. Remember this?
Mr. Rosen, how do you feel about how the homecoming is going so far?
Well, so far, so good.
During the election season, he had the decency to come out and directly make students think he liked us. And he had the courtesy to only make us hate him after the campaign ended. I mean, that's just manners. But I digress. Despite the fact that students attend classes for 8 months of the year, apparently the town only notices for one weekend. Speaking of whipped cream, here's Adam with the bucket list.